So do you think the best way to teach youth, it's maybe to make and to build video games?
Exactly. In my book, Liquid Leadership, I talk about this because I was trying to figure out why the behavior was so different. See, I started the first .com company on Wall Street back in the 90s. I didn't know I was doing that at the time. I was just addressing a new market. And I was hiring people that were only 3 to 7 years younger than me, but they thought and acted and behaved completely differently. So I started to get confused. I go, what is going on? This seems like a trend. Like everybody younger than me is doing things differently. So I spent about 15 years doing the research for the book. And one of the places I flew to, and I interviewed some of the best and brightest minds in the country, and the world actually, I flew out to the Games and Learning Society conference out in Madison, Wisconsin. And I recommend that everybody does this. It was a huge eye-opener for me. So what happened is I would start to see that I flew out to the Games and Learning Society conference in Madison, Wisconsin. And that's where the top academic professors come together with game designers, some of the most violent game designers in the world, like from Electronic Arts and things like that. And they come together and they fuse their ideas to help use games in the classroom from kindergarten on up to college. And some people are scoffing at this, but it woke me up like you wouldn't believe, because several things I saw. Imagine taking an economics course for a semester where you actually create a gaming simulation with your team, where you build a small town and you attract businesses and corporations, you create taxation, and you're able to run this small town so that it's profitable. Now, they can run multiple simulations before they actually get out of college and go to work in government. So they've actually had practice runs as to what you can do and what you shouldn't do. If you have taxes being too high, the simulation will show corporations will lead. If you bring them in with balance and you don't tax the middle class too much, and you'll have a balanced simulation. So they were doing things like this. This blew my mind. Using games in the classroom is the next phase. And if you look at the Khan Academy, I don't know if you've seen that, but Microsoft, Bill Gates put like, I think $1 billion into the Khan Academy. And what this is online video classrooms.
Yes.
Training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the next wave. This is the next way to learn, because a student can learn at their own pace. Instead of sitting in a classroom feeling embarrassed to raise their hand and go, I don't quite know what you've been talking about for the past hour. They can take the video and roll it back and look at it and try the equations and keep moving until they actually get it on their own time.
And what do you think about the fact to build videos for mobile?
Right.
For example, the youth can follow their training on the iPhone.
Oh, yes. Well, think about it this way. This device has created what's called augmented reality. This device allows me in seconds to access not only my database and network, but to take photos, upload it, share PDFs and information.
Yes.
And it's only the beginning, because now they're developing applications or apps for this that can take on other things. Besides accessing the global positioning satellites, besides, finding a cool restaurant, you'll be able to monitor, let's say, your EKG. And your doctor will be able to monitor it through your iPhone. You'll be able to hook up electrodes and go, hey, how's my heart rate, doc? Your life will be changing, because the entire planet Earth is about to become a Wi-Fi network, the cloud. And this is just the beginning, these types of devices. And it's been driven mostly by youth. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that might doubt this, but how many older generations are texting because that's the only way to reach their grandchildren? Or they're using the Facebook because they want to see what their grandkids are up to? Or are they their own children? Okay, because it's the new communication device of the 21st century.
Yes, and you are dealing with the fact that youth prefer to follow online and when they want. But do you think if we go to the extreme, um, the youth will not have any contacts, any real contacts?
That's correct. That's where someone like you comes in, who teaches FaceTime. This face-to-face communication will always be needed. Even if you're on a Skype network, even if you're on sort of a video conference chat, there's certain etiquette and certain things. The stories that we tell enrich our lives. So look at this more as a platform for the next generation, the 21st century equivalent of the printing press or the electric grid system. This is the next wave that's come along, where now the infrastructure is in place and speed and mastery is coming up. And the next generation is going to have to learn a new set of communication tools if they're going to survive. Because baby boomers like myself, we're retiring. So how do you pass on that legacy? How do you pass on to young people who have a whole new skill set that perhaps boomers do not have? How do you communicate that to the next wave that's been exposed to technology and may not see the value in creating something long-term like the older generations have learned?
Mm.